Alrighty, what's going on, everybody out there? It is your boy Michael here from Technoid. Welcome back to another live episode. It is great to be back on the live streams as always, guys. It is good to entertain all of you. It is good to be back in general. Period. No repeats necessary. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Let's do a quick roll call and then we will begin this live stream. We've got Jason. It is good to see you, my friend. You better stay tuned because there is a big announcement coming up and you're not going to want to miss this. What's up, Blaze? Good to see you, Blaze. Good to see that you're feeling great. I hope and glad that you have recovered. We got Gene in the house. Gene, what is good? Alrighty, so as you guys know the drill by now, my show is always an open platform. We've got many people that want to come on. Some people even forget they're allowed to come on. You should remember from now in time because it's open platform. But I am always joined by my co-host. He is a staple of our live episodes, so let's not waste any time. The man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Sneed Mobile Tech. Sup, brother?
What up, man? I love the energy,
Oh,
man.
Listen, you know me. This is why I love live episodes versus non-live episodes. Because non-live episodes, I have to pre-record and I just wake up in the morning or at night, as soon as I finish work or even before I go into work. But when I'm live in front of everybody at this time, I can just do what I want. So I love it. I just love to be myself. But anyway, so guys, we have some major announcements to announce tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so excited for this. I am so excited to announce. But before we get to those announcements, we got to get some things out of the way. So, number one, we got to announce if you have not followed my Twitter by now, which is a crime, I would say, I would encourage all of you to please follow me on Twitter at Technoid12 so you can stay up to date and on the latest of our tech show. We got Brian. It is good to have you. I am doing well. How about you, my friend? I hope you are having a great and excellent night or afternoon, wherever you are. I hope that you are having a great day. Now, back to the Twitter. The reason why it's important to follow my Twitter is not only you will stay up to date on the latest from my tech show, but of course, when we have some teasers and things coming around, you will be the first to know about it. So, make sure you follow my Twitter at Technoid12. Now, let's get to the huge announcements. Let's get to it. So, let's start with the one that I already told everyone. So, for those of you that have not seen, again, if you didn't follow my Twitter, listen, you got to follow it because first announcement of the night. I am thrilled and honored to say this. Now, let's put into perspective. In 2019, when I was just 18, just turned 19, I was just starting out on YouTube, and my first ever venture into the tech world was Samsung, And Samsung invited me to Samsung Unpacked, which was the time that I got not only hooked on Android, but it was my first ever exposure into the tech world. And I'm so way beyond thrilled and humbled that Samsung, of all people, reached out to me to go to this event. And I'm happy to announce that I will be back at another tech launch event, but not Samsung. No, ladies and gentlemen, I will be attending the Oneplus launch event here in New York for the Oneplus 10T. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have been invited by OnePlus to go to this event, and I want to take this moment to thank you, OnePlus, for this amazing, as I would say, glorious opportunity. So, the event is August 3rd. This is this Wednesday coming up at 10 a.m. I will be going to Gotham Hall along with a person of my choosing, which I will discuss the details of that later. But I will be there. I will be just like an average fan. I will cover the event. I will live stream at the event. I will have my cameraman go there. So I will make sure to cover everything. You will get all the latest scoops. And also, if you guys, anybody watching this going to Gotham Hall, if you are going to watch the OnePlus launch event, then I encourage you to meet me. We could take some photos. We could meet up. If you watch my channel or not, if you recognize me, whatever, you are more than welcome to come up to me, get a picture. If there's anybody going there that watches my channel. But yes, that is the first major announcement of the night. I am attending the OnePlus launch event. So thank you, OnePlus, for this amazing, amazing opportunity. I am beyond grateful. So thank you very much. Now, let's get to announcement number 2.
Announcement number 2?
Well, this is the one I didn't tell anyone.
All right, let's do it, man.
As you guys know, the Technoid Show has a very proud and steady relationship with Rogue Energy. As you guys know, Rogue has been very kind to affiliate themselves with my channel, giving me the exclusive promo code. As you guys always know, the Rogue Energy new flavors are out. And I once again encourage you all to go to rogueenergy.com. Listen, guys, if you haven't tried it by now, you are missing out. Mr. Steamable Tech, I believe you received your care package. I was kind enough to send Mr. Tech a tub plus shaker of the Rogue Energy Pina Colada flavor. And you will let me know. You better post about it on Twitter. You better give me some love.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for sending it out, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. So, I encourage all of you to please head over to rogueenergy.com. Find your favorite flavor. They've got tons and tons. They got tubs, starter kits, shakers, single serve. They even got merchandise. But check out their tubs. Check out their variety pack. And I promise you guys, you will not regret it. And use the promo code Technoid to save 10% off. Every time you use the promo code, every time you use the affiliated link, you are not only helping the channel, but you are also, I will once again say this, you are also getting yourself healthy alternative energy drinks better than Red Bull. So check out rogueenergy.com. But that is not the announcement. So here's the real announcement. As you guys know, I have consistently been working my way from the ground up as a YouTuber, as a small YouTuber. I don't look at myself as a big YouTuber. I don't look at myself as anything big on this platform. I am a simple man, humbled, and truthfully, I work hard for everything that I wish to achieve. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say that we have another partnership coming to the Technoid Show. One was great, but now we have two. And this second one, for those of you that are not familiar with it, I'm going to unveil it to you right now, as I have in my hand the product that will be the official. We have the official energy drink. Now we have the official post-workout drink of the Technoid Show. I am, of course, talking about a little company called Slate Chocolate Milk. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, why chocolate milk? Why chocolate milk? Well, this is the deal. The company that was kind enough to now affiliate themselves with my channel is Slate. Slate originally aired on Shark Tank. They went into the Shark Tank seeking an investment. They didn't get the investment, but their company boomed. I tell you, boomed. They boomed so much that I saw them all over shopping malls and actually see them in my local grocery store. So when they reached out, I said, hell yeah. Well, truth be told, I actually kind of reached out first. And then they said, you know what? We're going to give you a shot, kid. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we now have a second affiliation with the Technoid Show, and that is Slate Chocolate Milk. Now, I could go on and on. We are 10 minutes into the show, and I'm already sounding like a commercial, an infomercial right now. So let me give you the health facts about Slate Chocolate Milk. Slate is a dairy, lactose-free milk. You could get the same creamy enjoyment of chocolate milk without the lactose if you are lactose intolerant or just want to live a healthier life. There is 100 to 120 calories per can. There is 20 grams of protein, so all you need to get your workout going. It has 1 gram of sugar and only 1 gram of carbs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredible chocolate milk. I have been drinking it for the last couple of days, and I've had it in the past, and I'm here to tell you guys that Slate chocolate milk is the real deal. Head on over to slatemilk.com and use the... Okay, so full disclosure, we will change this promo code. I contacted them. We'll get that fixed up, but you can use it temporarily. You will also save 10% off. You can order in bulks. You can order single cans. And if you subscribe, you could even get extra savings to get recent deliveries. So, with all that being said, let us officially welcome Slate Chocolate Milk to the Technoid Show. And here's to a great partnership and great working partnership, whatever you want to call it. And here to an incredible future with the Technoid Show. Cheers.
Man, blessings, and this is fantastic as an addition to the channel. You have yourself performance drinks. You have yourself your pre-workout. You got yourself your pre-game. You got your post-game, your post-workout. And by the way, That sounds
Oh,
delicious. Like chocolate milk, phenomenal.
let me tell you guys something. I just drank the whole can. That thing is delicious.
Mhm.
It is actually really nice. And they've got 3 flavors on their website. They have classic chocolate, they have mocha latte with caffeine, so you actually have a coffee flavor. And then for those of you that like a little extra health in your life, they have a dark chocolate flavor as well.
They
So
all sound delicious.
head on over to slatemilk.com. And guys, definitely check it out. And once again, everyone, we want to welcome Slate Chocolate Milk to the Technoid Show. Okay, okay. Now that we've got 12 minutes worth of announcements, let's get this show going. Let us get it going. So, let's talk Pixel 6a. Mr. Sneed, Mobile Tech, Mr. Team Pixel himself.
Mhm.
I have one question I would like to ask you. How are you enjoying your experience?
I am enjoying my experience. What's up, Carlos? Carlos has the phone too, I believe. Bro,
Ooh,
this is a nice phone. I was telling you before the
thank
the
you,
show
Blaze. We
started.
appreciate the super chat,
Yeah,
super
thanks for
sticker.
the
Thank
super
you.
chat. Yeah. The phone experience collectively, without analyzing every little detail about the phone. If you just use this phone, your apps, typically
Starbucks.
what you do, right? It's a very nice experience. I
Mm-hmm.
expect a nice experience from Google. It's gotten to that point. I think they make a great phone. It's not a perfect phone. In fact, Google has never made a perfect phone. These phones do get better with time. They do get a lot of updates. They get great support. I'm expecting it to get better as the days progress, as the weeks and the months go on with each update. It's been really nice to use this phone. It's a very good experience. I want to talk about the flaws of this phone. I want to talk about the strengths of this phone. I want to evaluate it objectively, and I want to compare it to the right things. I think that's where the problem is, Mr. Technoid. People aren't evaluating this device accurately and objectively. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's how we got
Yes.
to kind of frame this.
Okay, and you know what? You said it perfectly. So we're just going to go right into it. So that's my biggest issue tonight. So, guys, as you know, I have been very, very critical of Team Pixel. I've also been very critical of this whole charade that Google does. The reason why I'm not a big fan of it is because of 2 things. Number one, they create misconceptions, and number two, they are paving a picture that really does not make them look well, especially when you've given out so many phones that I'm pretty sure you can count the free phones as your market share. That's how many free phones they've given away. I have never seen a company give away so many free devices, and then it leads right into what you just said. They are evaluating this phone the wrong way. Now, there are real flaws. I've talked about this already on a full episode of Technoid. If you want to watch the full episode, I will leave a link in the description. You can see where I address all the points. You can also check it out. But we're going to talk about it more. And now that I have seen Mobile Tech, I really, really, really want to talk about it more with you. So let's begin. So, number one, let's build off of what you said, the evaluation. Let's be honest, Sneed. The people evaluating this phone are Team Pixel members. Majority Team Pixel members. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, yeah.
We can also agree that when you get a free device, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it tends to blend itself into your review. Because while you have to be honest and subjective and be as fair as possible, there's always that little thing in the back of your head like, they gave it to me for free, so I want to keep a good relationship. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But it does interfere with the perception and it interferes with the review. And that's exactly what's happened over the last few days. We've seen many, many criticisms from people that don't own the phone, from people that have the phone, and then people that have the phone but have been disappointed, etc., etc., etc. So we need to address the elephant in the room. And the first elephant in the room is Google. Google, I gotta be honest. You make really good A series phones. You make really good A series phones. You really make good phones, and I can't say exactly Why? But you make some really good A series. Now, with that being said, you give them out like they're hotcakes. Like, what is this? An episode of Oprah? Like, you're giving them out like left, right, center. Like, you're going to get a free device. You're going to get a free device. Everybody's going to get a free device. Don't you see what happens when you do that? You're not going to get an honest perception view from the general consumer. You know, Sneed, you always argue, or not argue, but you always tell me, you say to me, you know, you're always talking about the general consumer. You've always praised my as you would say, point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I typically try not to take products from companies, or at the better yet, when I do, I make sure that they have no say, because of one reason and one reason alone. I like to put myself in the shoes of a person who is paying for the device. Now, that's not a knock on anyone. That's not a knock on anyone. I'm just saying how I do my videos. And I think the problem with Google is that I'm glad that they gave this phone out to people that are beyond the regulars. They actually gave the phone to people who actually deserve it. But by the way, you missed out Tito again. Don't understand how they keep doing that. But by giving out so many phones, you start giving them out to people that are unqualified to be a reviewer. Hell, you give them out to people who don't even review phones. There is an audio YouTuber who he shall not be named, but if you know who I'm talking about, you can hit me up in the comments and I'll definitely talk to you. He gets a free phone, doesn't make any videos about smartphones. So, first of all, Google, you need to be more selective of who you give it out to. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you're giving it out to everyone. You really need to give it to people that can evaluate it for what it is and not what it's trying to be. You have to give it to people, and you can't have a say in their opinion. Y'all remember the saga what happened last year? How apparently the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro had so many issues that people were breaking the embargo. They were breaking the embargo just to say how bad it was, and they didn't even care if it ruined their relationship with Google. No matter how harsh or how mean a criticism is, you need to hear it. How else do you think things are going to get fixed, Google? So I want to pass it over now to Sneed, and I want to hear your version of what's the first elephant in the room. Is it Google? Is it Pixel? What do you think is the first biggest elephant in this room?
So you got to think about like what their mission is. What was their intentions in how they selected Team Pixel members? I think they tried to get it into as many different types of people, like as many of a variety of people as possible. So like you mentioned an audio reviewer or whatever, you know, the smartphone reviewer, the camera photography buff, you know, mobile photography, mobile videography and cinematics, and creators, and you know, people that post a lot of stuff on social media. I think what they did was they took those types of people that are very active within respective platforms, and they just wanted to get devices in their hands that they would post about, discuss, talk about, share images, share perspectives and opinions. Because at the end of the day, Mike, I don't think it's about giving the phone to someone who's going to love it. It's about getting the phone to someone who is going to post about it, who's going to create content about it. So to give it to someone who isn't going to post or, you know, cover it and test it, and that would seem counterproductive, you know, but regardless, right? They're trying to get the hands of the influencers on this device. Probably that was the bottom line. Like, how do we get it to people that are going to just give it FaceTime, give it a run? You know what I mean? I'm
But it was a
testing. I'm going to be
lot, though.
testing the
Yeah.
cellular. You know, I'm testing everything. You know, and it makes sense, right? A mobile
But I
tech
think
reviewer. You know,
but the thing is, though, Sneed, I think it was just too many they gave it to,
they
because
do
this was the
they do give it to
they
a lot
gave
of
it out.
people. The only reason I think that might be bad is because if it's going to certain individuals that won't really be doing anything with it, well, then that was a wasted device, right? That's how you would
Mm.
look at it. You would say, well, that could have gone to someone else, or they could have just sold it. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they really care to sell it all that much per se. They're probably just, hey, we got X number of phones to give out. Find people to use these, you know? And remember, the A series is what, third generation? right? We had the 8 3A, we had the 4A, the 5A, right? So now we're in the 4th gen, and I think they just again, it's just about exposure at this point.
You know, excuse me. You know, and a lot of people would probably look at my perspective and say, "Oh, you're just jealous you didn't get one." I'm not a smartphone reviewer. I don't need one. So, what benefit would that do me if I got a free phone? My thing is, there are people there that are qualified. There are actual people there that are qualified to review these phones, like you, like cellular YouTubers, smartphone reviewers, people in that caliber. So I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm just saying there's a few of them that they really should have reconsidered. But I think you're right. They were just trying to get it out to everyone. I don't know if that was a good idea because there's more free phones in people's hands than actual paid devices. Well, we'll have to wait and see with the Q sales. But bottom line, they gave out way too many. And I think that it oversaturates people's opinions on how to, like, seriously, can you take these reviews? That's the second thing. Let's talk about the actual reviewers themselves. So, I discussed on my live stream, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people that were criticizing this phone because of the same issues that Google just seems they can't seem to fix: heating, battery, things like that. Now, there are two classes of people in this situation. There are people that don't own the phone, and there are people that own the phone. For those people that don't own the phone, don't say anything. You have no say in this. You didn't buy it. You're just bouncing off. Yeah. But to people that own the phone, that are saying the criticism, that are bringing to light the issues, those are the things that I look and say they're valid.
Well, you
Whether
have
you
to
paid for
Mike, I think you gotta objectively look at each item, right? Like, I'm not gonna go into details right now, but, like, we could talk about the display. We could talk about the battery. We could
Mhm.
talk about the UI. Like, you could take each element and evaluate it accordingly.
Yeah, you need to. You have to look at everything in a big picture. And those people that are doing that, that are in Team Pixel, good for you. Good for you. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be kissing ass. You're supposed to be giving criticism and you're supposed to be giving feedback and being subjective as possible so that way the company can fix it and grow. But then there are people that make reviews and then they gloss over those and say, well, it's not the worst thing in the world. But then you have all those people. You really need to stop laying off that Team Pixel green leaves. I'm going to call it that. They really love this green color, apparently, Google.
Yeah, sage green, yeah.
I mean, listen, it's a great color. But in all honesty, there are valid criticisms: overheating, battery, and camera throttling. So I think those are some issues that Google still haven't been able to fix. And I don't know why. I think that maybe it's because of the lack of cooling in the phone. They don't actually have a real coolant in their phone. I tweeted out that if Google was to put a real cooling chamber in the phone, not like a big one, just, like copper cooling, something to dissipate the heat a little bit better,
Sure.
maybe it'll perform. Maybe it will increase the price, but considering they already increased the price and they're putting, I believe, aluminum, or did they put glass on the phone? What did they put?
It's plastic on the back, and then it's aluminum rails, like, on the
Oh,
edges.
wow.
Yeah.
Because the last year's model, it had full aluminum back.
Oh,
I
okay.
remembered.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I
this
remember
is
the
some kinda like
yeah,
a
go ahead.
finished plastic. I mean, it's nice. It doesn't feel super cheap or anything. The side rails are definitely metal, but they don't feel like steel rails or anything like that. It's probably aluminum, brushed
Mhm.
aluminum. Yeah.
And that's to be expected because this is an A series. This is not a premium experience. But it's time to start investing, I would say, Google, into a cooling system. I think it's time to embrace an actual, because they're trying to go the route of Apple with the Tensor chip where they can control the heat management with the CPU.
Yeah, but this
But the
thing's an
problem is,
A-series device, man. You gotta try to keep these costs down. I mean, you're talking about active cooling, right? Like, you're talking about dedicated hardware.
Here, I'll show you. Here,
right?
let me give you some reference here, real quickly.
I'm thinking they got to come up with an engineered design that's going to allow some of the heat to be dissipated passively but more effectively. So improved airflow, the ability of the,
Hmm.
like, passive cooling. Maybe
Hmm.
the way it's designed and engineered now is just trapping heat, you know.
It could be, but I will also counter that they may want to take a little page out of Samsung's book
What's
because,
Samsung doing?
well, apparently, I'm actually trying to find the article right now. I saw it the other day. I should have kept it as reference, but it turns out that the apparently there is a vapor cooling chamber in an M53 Samsung phone, and that phone
What's the
is as
MSRP on the M53?
here you go. Here's what I got. So this is what I read. It's got a 108 megapixel camera, which obviously isn't the best, but a 6 nanometer processor, an AMOLED M, yes, there you go, an S AMOLED plus 120 hertz display. Now, if we do the conversion from rupees, we're looking at, well, actually, you know what? We'll do the conversion. Sneed, why don't you pull up the conversion for me?
Okay, sure.
Conversion right now, we're looking at 23,999 rupees. But the thing is, if anybody knows anything about M series and A series phones, even though they're the cheapest possible,
$300.
how is it that Samsung could put a vapor cooling chamber into an A series and an M series phone, but Google says, "Nah, we got to keep costs down." So I didn't want to say you're wrong for arguing that
Well,
to
you
keep
got
the cost down.
but you gotta remember, like,
Go
India's
ahead.
hyper intense competitive for smartphones,
That's true.
you know?
That is true. That is true. But look at the price difference. 300 versus 450. I'm sure they could have what I would have done if they really wanted, you know, if they really really wanted to do it, cuz I think they even did it with the A53 phones, cuz even Los is saying the A53 5G is amazing. And I'll say this and then we'll move on to the next part about the 6A criticisms. I think that it makes more sense to have a cheap cooling system than to have nothing. Than to have nothing. And maybe, like you said, there are some factors we have to look at. But if a $300 phone can have it, I'm sure Google can come something up with the design team. Even if it doesn't have to be a vapor cooling chamber,
Well,
it could be anything.
let me share some of my experience. So I did a video about the heat, right? And, I took the phone with me, I had to make a couple of errands, and the phone, when I left the house, was, like, 27 degrees Celsius on the CPU, went up to,
Hmm.
like, 30 degrees Celsius very commonly, so it's, like, in that range. When I left the house and I was using Google Maps and doing my rounds, I was just using Google Maps. So the screen is on. Obviously, the CPU is running. There's apps in the background. There was like Signal Check Pro and
Hmm.
something else, maybe NPerf. Something was collecting like networking data, right? I think
Hmm.
the phone peaked, the CPU temperature peaked at 43 degrees Celsius. The phone didn't slow down. The phone didn't stop working. The phone didn't shut down. No apps failed. The phone kept working, but it felt warm.
Hmm.
Like, not warm like I was scared, but warm where it was noticeable when I held it. I was like, "Man, that's a lot warmer than my iPhone is." And it was warmer than my Pixel 6 Pro.
Hmm.
So, there I think so what I'm trying to say is the phone felt warm, but it wasn't getting hot to the point where I was scared, nor was
Hmm.
it getting to the point where the phone was failing.
Hmm.
So yeah, you would notice it was getting warm, but it didn't impact performance from what I could tell.
Okay, so that's fair. That's fair. All right, so I guess maybe it depends on people's
Now
usage as
remember,
well.
it's July. I wasn't running the air
Hmm.
conditioning. It was 80 degrees outside. My car interior is black. I don't know if any of those factors impacted it and made it warmer than it would be, but it was definitely warm.
True. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe there's more reports. Maybe we'll have to wait and see what Team Pixel members can come up with excuses. But we'll see. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But in all seriousness, though, we could go on and on. But everybody's experience is different. But it does seem like it heats up a bit. So they got to figure something out.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
now let's get to the next criticism. And now we get to the part, and this is actually one that I actually gotta say, I didn't want to go this route, but I was thinking about it all day today. And I gotta tell you, there was a comment on my video.
Was it about the display?
Somebody, no, not about display, because that's not a complaint. That is not a complaint at all. That is not a complaint by
Yeah, some
whatsoever
people
of
were
the
talking
imagination.
smiggity about the 60 hertz.
Whoever came up with that, you need to re-examine yourselves, because how that is a complaint is beyond me. So I'm going to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something. So couple of days, not a couple of days, a few hours ago, I received a comment from a man, somebody, and obviously he agreed with me. We didn't have any disagreements, and I want to use his comment for reference because it brings up a very interesting point about people in general. He wrote this. He wrote, "Bro, watch how people reviewed the 2022 iPhone SE and this Pixel 6a. What a difference. iPhone has 60 hertz, 720 LCD screen, one camera, no night mode, old design, etc. No one even complained, but everyone is bashing the 6a. Now I understand what John Rettinger was talking about being blacklisted by Apple." Now, I was thinking about that for a little bit before we did this episode, and I told him I wanted to use this comment as reference because after thinking about it more and more, and then I watched reviews. I actually studied for this video. I actually did my research. I went back and watched old reviews of the iPhone SE with 5G and the Google Pixel 6a reviews, and I gotta tell you, Sneed, he's not wrong. And I think I know why. I think we all know why the companies are different from than when they treat Apple. So the reason why I agree with this man is because of one reason and one reason only. When it's an Apple device, everyone knows it. You don't need to say anything more than it's an iPhone. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. It's an iPhone. Doesn't matter what model it is, doesn't matter what it does, how crappy it is, doesn't matter anything. And mind you, people, I'm an iPhone user. And I'm defending the Pixel right now. And I have nothing to gain from this. But I'm here to tell you, when you look at this, people will say it's an iPhone for that. Then you look at this, and then people will say, it's an Android. That's the problem we have. There is a double standard in the tech community when it comes to Apple products and it comes to Google products. And of all companies to get the shoehorn, to really get a lot of bashing, Google gets the most. Now, there are valid reasons why they get it, but then there are other reasons they don't deserve it. I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to see if whether you agree or not, because it raises a question. Is the tech community oblivious, or are they just really, you know, are they just really that low on Google because they expect perfection from them no matter what? Which probably there's a reason to expect that. But then when Apple releases a 7-year-old design with crappier specs than that, but knowing they have the software support and the pretty powerful CPU, it's a double standard. What's your take on that?
Well, for starters, I don't like the comparison between Androids and like the iPhones, for example. Most people who are looking at iPhones are deeply entrenched into the Apple ecosystem. Things like iMessage and FaceTime are all a staple of what they do day to day. Also, I think what a lot of people do with their iPhones is the fact that they also have like an Apple Watch, they have a MacBook, they have iPads, right? They have AirPods. They do the whole like hardware, software, program, app ecosystem, iCloud services, the Apple Store visits, having Apple Care Plus and Apple Music. And so all these Apple services, they do all of that together collectively as an ecosystem. So then trying to compare iPhones to Androids, generally speaking, I don't know if that's really proper, like, or if that's even really I don't know, should it really be the approach, right? We should be comparing probably just Androids as their own ecosystem, right? So we could compare like mid-range devices, right? So then the conversation becomes like the Samsung Galaxy A53, any of the motos that come in as a mid-ranger between like 399 and 499, right? You get this price point. You pin the mid-rangers up against each other and you look at the specs and you look at the general performance, you start looking at the strengths and the weaknesses and you compare them by price. That's a fair evaluation. Another thing I would actually say is we should probably be evaluating this Pixel 6a based on how much of an upgrade is it from the 5a. How much better is the processor? How much better is the camera system? How much better is the video recording or the still photography? How much better is the battery life? How much better is the UI, right? Or the AI that's in the Tensor chip? If you want to start talking about chipset and different features, display technology. We can evaluate the Pixel that it's replacing. We can evaluate the Pixel 6a against other phones in the same price point. Comparing it to an iPhone doesn't make sense. Comparing it to a flagship iPhone makes absolutely no sense. And then comparing it to a flagship Galaxy or a flagship Pixel or a flagship, whatever else you want to put it up against. Even the phones that come from China, I see people doing that with like freaking Huawei's and whatever else they can order online.
Mm-hmm.
You have to frame these things accordingly. It doesn't make sense to compare this phone to an iPhone 13 Pro. It doesn't make sense to compare it to an iPhone 13. It doesn't make sense to compare it to a 12 Pro, right? That's a flagship from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is relative. It needs proper framing. Because if you're going to sit there and tell me that the display is not as good as my iPhone 13 Pro, I hope not. Because your iPhone 13 Pro was over $1,000. This phone is coming in at $450. If this phone had an even comparable display, then you got played when it comes to displays, right? So that's what I was kind of framing it as, Mike, is like you got to have the proper perspective when comparing these phones.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you, that's the problem. People don't have the right perspective. They don't have the right observation. And that's the biggest issue right now when it comes to any tech world. They can't separate what they're reviewing versus who it's really after. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with comparing it to an iPhone SE. There's nothing wrong with comparing it to another Android in that range. When you start comparing it to Apple products that are above its range, when you start comparing it to Androids above its range, and then when you start piling on all these things, and then for you to then say that the SE is a better phone means you either don't own it, you have no research, or hey, what's up, Yasmin? Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Uncle Mike.
See, we got guests in the house. Man, I get the uncle treatment already.
Yasmin just wanted to say hi to everyone.
Hi, everybody. Shout out hashtag Yasmin. Let's do it.
Thanks for coming, Yasmin. Thanks for saying hi.
We appreciate her. It's a big now that is what we need more of in today's society. And you better get used to it, Sneed, because eventually it's gonna dry out one day.
I know, man. I love
Take it in.
That's right.
Take it in. But in all seriousness. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you have your moment. Yeah. In the meantime, Slate Chocolate Milk, use the promo code. Now. Yeah, there you go. You better say you love me back. Let me hear you say you love me back.
I love you too, Yasmin. You want to surprise them? Sure. Real quick, Yasmin. We got to get the show back on the road.
Nah, no worries. We got time. We still got time. Ooh. Halloween in July. My favorite. Now she's my number one favorite. I love Halloween. Everybody knows that.
That's right, dude.
Alrighty.
That's right.
Let's finish this up because we got to move on to the last topic. Ooh.
Okay.
What's
Yasmin
that?
wanted to share her drawing.
That a Pikachu?
No, it's a fox. It's a blue fox.
Oh, it's a fox. Let's make it bigger. Look at that. That's a nice picture.
Nice job, Yasmin.
Very nice. You see, Sneed? You've got the best of the world right there.
Yeah. Now it's out of focus. Thanks, Yasmin. Oh.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Riddick,
if we don't get a standing ovation for this, you know we're not gonna. We're there. Wrestling. You see? I told you. I knew it. Here, Sneed, I'll give you a few moments. Go ahead. I'll give you a few moments to wrap it up. But real quickly, 1 second. Let's switch it over real quickly. I gotta fix something real quickly while we give Sneed just a chance to fix this up real quickly. Okay, there we go. All right, real quickly, then we'll get Sneed back in this. And also shout out to Yasmin, hashtag Yasmin Takeover. That's literally what we're calling it. Yasmin Takeover. Now, let's get to this last one, and then we got to move right on to the final topic because I want you to go and relax, be with your family. Final thing of criticism, and I'll leave that up to you, Sneed. What is the last thing we need to talk about? That for the Pixel 6a? Because we talked about all the elephants. We talked about all the things. We've gone down the rosary. But let's talk about some positives. Let's actually give it some positives.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can find one big positive. One big, easy positive. It's literally stock Android in your pocket. Whether people want to admit it, with all its faults, with all its issues, it's stock Android. It's going to have great software support, probably better than most premium flagships. It's not a flagship phone, but it does the job solidly, and it's honestly the perfect Pixel device for the price. Because even Google struggles with their Pro series and flagship series. That's my positive.
Yeah, it's a good user experience. The app integration with Google services is great. You can flow through the UI really seamlessly. It's nice. It's smooth. It's buttery. Good animations out of the box. You could change them too. You could speed up the animations and developer options. And there's a couple other features. The display surprisingly looks smooth as you kind of go through apps and stuff in transition. And you get that long-term support. That's important to people. I think that's one of the reasons they buy it. It's one of the few Androids that's going to have long-term support. Remember, Samsung told us they would support their devices for multiple years. We have to see if that actually happens. Google actually has a track record of this, right? They've been supporting their devices for multiple years for a while. So you are right about that. I think that's a great feature for people coming in at the mid-range price point.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that Google kind of shot themselves in the foot because they made such a great A-series line and the Pixel series are kind of struggling? What would you say? Would you say that they kind of have perfected the mid-range and are still kind of working on the...
Yeah, that's...
Because I think they have.
That's interesting. All right, so you're basically saying their mid-ranges are great and they're like the best option in the mid-range, but their flagships are not the best option at that price point, right? So yeah, they have a lot of work to do. But I think what's actually happening is people now look at Google, oh, you guys make great mid-rangers, but your flagships are nothing special, right? Well, so now what does that become Google's identity? Nobody's going to look for them for a flagship. They're going to only look for them for a mid-range. I don't know, man.
I don't know myself.
I like the Google flagships, right?
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the flagship over the mid-range. But then again, I do more with my phone. I produce content with my phone. I edit videos, render videos, upload videos with my phone. I record a lot of 4K stuff. I kind of prefer a flagship over a mid-range. Maybe there is something to that. But I'll tell you what, man. If you buy this phone for $450, or if you were to buy the 6 on sale, right? What if you got it at $500 instead of $599? Well, now how's that value proposition?
That's a very good proposition, actually.
And then what if you got a Pixel 6 Pro at $800 instead of $900? Or if you got it for $700 instead of $900? Now what about the value pro?
I think that's when you start. I think that's starting to break some good value.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I think that a lot of people are saying is that because it's priced so low and because it's such an A-series phone, it could be fixed over time because you're not breaking the bank. Okay, but when you're going into that, go ahead.
So let's circle back to this. The conversation you and me are having right now, this dialogue, we're talking about price. That means people like the Pixels at a certain price. They don't like the Pixel at a certain price. They don't want it at 900 for the 6 Pro. They'll take it at 800 or 700. You see what I'm saying? So they're like, "Oh, well, this phone is like a great value at 450. If this phone was 550, nobody would want it."
Yeah.
So we're, the why doesn't the price matter for the iPhone?
That's actually a very good point.
Why doesn't the price matter
And
for the
that's
Galaxy? Why does the price only matter for the Pixel? What is Google doing
yeah.
wrong, or what are people evaluating wrong about the Google phones?
I think that's the biggest criticism. The evaluations are just so far fetched. And like I brought up with the iPhone and the A series, people will accept that these things will look at this range, but they are willing to forego Samsung and Apple. And when it comes to Google, they'll just beat them into the ground.
You want to hear a good analogy? I was explaining this to somebody on Twitter, DM'd me for my impressions of the device. And I was explaining how I think people are framing the phone incorrectly. And it's kind of like the Tesla stock. For anybody out there who trades, buys shares of companies in the stock market, I like Tesla as a company. I think they're doing some innovative things. I think they've done some incredible stuff up to this point. Their stock price is way overvalued. I would love, as a shareholder, I would love to hold and purchase common stocks in Tesla.
Yeah.
Not at $1,000 a share, but I would love to own them at $295 a share. I
That's
think that's
true.
how people look at these phones sometimes. I'd
Yeah.
love to own that phone, but at such and such price point. I do not want to pay full MSRP for that phone at 900 or 700 or 450, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think we agree on that, and I think that eventually one day people are gonna cave and finally accept them once. But I also think that Google also is kind of holding back in some regards. I mean, it's not overpriced. I think the price is fair, but I feel like they could do more. I think that's also the biggest problem.
So do you think the next generation of Pixel devices will be better?
We've been asking that question for like 3 years in a row.
So they're going to continue
And
to struggle.
I feel like they're gonna keep continuing until finally one day they go, listen, in order for us to really do it, and I know for a fact Google is probably very hesitant to do this, but they're gonna have to pull the trigger on I would say, look, they may go the Oneplus route where they have to cave to the flagship competitors, but they have so many things like, honestly, like Sneed, they could honestly make the case. You know, we've been calling Pixels for years the iPhone of Androids. For years, people have been saying that Pixels were the iPhone of Androids. When you have a slogan like that in your back pocket, because of software experience, ecosystem experience finally building, now they've got a Pixel Watch on its way. Now they have earbuds. They've got the ecosystem now. So it's time for them to really pull the trigger on that target. I think if they make a device that gives it everything, and I'm hoping that's the 7 Pro. I hope we don't get another phone where it gives us a little bit more than what we had the year before, but it's still not giving. Because look at it this way, Sneed. Every single Pro phone, every single Pixel Pro phone has been a Frankenstein monsters of experience. Because look at the Pixel and the Pixel 2. Those are the only two devices, in my opinion, in recent memory, and Pixel 3. Pixel 1, 2, and 3, the original. I think those are fine. Also, I think my audio is out of sync. Let me fix this real quickly.
It's good on the restream. I can't tell. Let me look at maybe the
Double
YouTube.
check on YouTube.
Yeah,
Go ahead. But I'll keep going. So when it comes to the starting with the Pixel 3 XL, that phone was a disaster. Nobody and their mothers could tell me that phone was a great phone. It was a disaster. The 3 XL. The 4 and the 4 XL were also a disaster. They were a disaster because of one reason, and one reason only. They didn't go all in on what they wanted to do. They wanted to go with facial recognition. Completely dropped that project. Pixel 5, they go, I believe that's when they started finally heading into that direction of kind of trying to be consistent. But again, still missing the marks here and there. Finally, Pixel 6 and 6 Pro give us high quality camera, an in-display fingerprint reader. Still missing a lot of things, apparently, from what people are saying. And also it has heating issues again. Now we get to the Pixel 7 Pro, which they've already unveiled the design on that. Now we got to really move on to the final topics, because we're almost running out of time. So I'll wrap by saying this. Google, you are the iPhone of Androids. Act like it. Stop saying and stop pretending. Start doing it. Start doing the things that you can do, because you make Android. So start doing some things, start giving some exclusive things that other competitors can't do, and start taking advantage of that slogan. So we got to move on to the final topic. Final topic before we end the show is the OnePlus 10T 5G. So first of all, I just got to say, even though I am very grateful for OnePlus allowing me to go to this event, why are y'all marketing 5G still? We are so out of that phase of marketing 5G. People know what 5G is, OnePlus.
Facts. You're right, man. Facts.
So I don't get it. But something very interesting.
Samsung killed it, right?
Samsung killed it. Apple never did it. You know what? I give Apple a lot of credit. They don't cave into that crap. They just keep their names. They honestly don't need to.
Yeah. Facts.
So good job, Apple. But it turns out that the OnePlus 10T is actually looking to be a very solid phone. This is the actual image of the phone. As you can see, it's going to have a nice display. It's going to have a nice camera setup according to the back. It will be, according to reports, a little bit cheaper. We don't know exactly how cheap.
What was that MSRP on the previous generation?
I believe $899. We could check it out right now.
Okay.
Let me actually pull it up for you. OnePlus 10 Pro is priced at $899, and then if you upgrade, it'll be $969. So it looks like, according to these reports, that OnePlus is going back to Forum.
Hey, wasn't the origin of the T always that mid-year, mid-upgrade with like something better?
Yeah.
Like an additional feature. Like it was like the Turbo Edition, but like whatever that was.
This actually might be that. This is actually the first time in a long time that I think the T series actually has that, because they give it away right away. They're using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus. That's a huge upgrade.
Oh, so it's a slight improvement of the SoC.
Wait, it gets better.
Okay.
125 watt super fast charging and almost 5,000 milliamp hour. They've got a 3D cooling system 2.0, improving cooling. They've got 360 antenna system with SmartLink.
That's pretty cool. Those are some cool features, man.
16 gigabytes with 256 gigabyte option. And then they're going to be unveiling at the event new era in charging with artificial intelligence with their charging. So I got to tell you, despite all my criticisms, despite everything that I've ever said about OnePlus, this might be the first OnePlus device that I might actually consider picking up. I might actually give OnePlus a chance. I will put my SIM card into a OnePlus phone. I will actually consider doing it. However, there is one thing missing that many people picked up. If you notice the camera, they're not made by Hasselblad or co-developed with Hasselblad. So it looks like
you think that's going to be an issue? Do you think it's going to lead to, a lesser performance?
I hope
previous
not.
gen had the branding, right?
So all the branding, I think all of the
Hasselblad.
I think OnePlus. Okay, so I think let's take a look at the AT. No, so the AT didn't have the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro, but they didn't have a OnePlus 9T. So they skipped the 9T and went straight to the 10 Pro. Okay. So the OnePlus 9 and 10. So it seems like their premium flagships are going to have the Hasselblad, and then the T series, which is probably going to be the cheaper version, has the regular in-house cameras. Now, I'll say this. I honestly have talked so much crap about OnePlus
You have.
that I'm even surprised they asked for me to go. So I don't
Maybe
know
that's
how.
why. Maybe they want to turn you into a believer, man.
I'll say this. I am not willing to drop $900 on a OnePlus device. I'm just being honest. And it's not because of any reason. I don't want
Well,
to.
what are you willing to drop $900 on? An iPhone?
No, I'd drop it on a Samsung S22 Ultra.
A
I'd
Galaxy?
probably drop it on the Pixel.
Okay.
At least I know what I'm buying.
Yeah.
With
right.
OnePlus, it's always changing, and they can never seem to get their marketing off the ground, and they rely heavily on T-Mobile. But I'll say this.
As a carrier partner, that's true. Yeah.
But I'll say this. I will honestly say this. Just the fact that it has the Gen 1 Plus, the 8 Plus, the fact that it has an advanced cooling system, the fact that it has a great display, a triple camera setup, which honestly, even for me, is probably going to be fine because I would probably be using this phone more for headphone reviews and just my own pleasure. I might honestly push the trigger. I might actually give it a shot. It'll give me a chance to finally see if OnePlus products are really that good or if they're really that bad. Because I hear a lot of good things about OnePlus. We've talked a lot of good things about
Yeah,
OnePlus.
that's true. Don't you think they've always been competitive, but they've never had the perfect storm to take them over the top. You know what I mean?
They just, you know what it is?
How do you get past buying this over a Galaxy for a lot of people? Right? Isn't that the target demographic?
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to get the Galaxy customer.
Yeah. I think one of the other things that they could do is, see, I don't want to go into too much detail because they're going to have this at the event, and I do want to be surprised. But I got to tell you, man, if they're going to convince consumers to switch over, first of all, if it's a OnePlus phone, it better be priced lower than the Pro series because I don't even think they have any market share. Like, listen, OnePlus has none. We've gone over the maps. We've gone over the charts. We've talked all about OnePlus. They don't have an arm and a leg to stand on in the American market.
You know what's worked
now,
for them a little bit, though? The partnership with Metro with, like, the N200 and the Nord and all that.
That is true. The Nord series has picked up some steam. But, YouTubers like us, we don't go for Nord. We want the flagship.
Yeah, right.
But sometimes you need to have a device that's kind of the midway to a flagship, but is in that flagship realm. And I think that's what the 10T is about. It's all about the performance. I think that's essentially what it is. It's a performance power heavy phone with maybe a few back seats. But I'll just say this, and then I'll conclude and let you wrap it up. My final thoughts is I'm going to this event as sell me. Tell me why I should buy this phone. I have two phones. Tell me why I should get this phone. Tell me why I should switch from Samsung to OnePlus. Tell me why OnePlus, after everything that I've said, after everything that I've raved about this company, from all their BS marketing to no marketing to everything, tell me why I should go with the OnePlus 10T. That's it. And that's how I look at it. Sneed, final thoughts?
I think that's a good approach. Sell me on this device. Get me out of my Galaxy. Get me out of my Pixel. I don't think they're going to convert any iPhone users. I don't even think they exist or know they exist. Yeah, but yeah, you're going to have to sell me because if I'm going to be trading this and selling this other device that I've been using and I like it, you got to knock my socks off. So that not only do they have to be as good, in some ways they'll probably have to be better. Yeah.
And that is where I will end it. So, guys, that is it for our live episode of Technoid. Before we end the stream, guys, again, let's do the quick roundup before we go. First of all, if you didn't catch at the beginning of the episode, we have a brand new affiliation partnership with Slate Chocolate Milk. It looks mirror image for whatever reason on my end, but if it looks good on your end, hey. But check it out, slatemilk.com. Use the promo code to celebrate. I'm not sure, but I think they'll be expediting shipping for those that want to get it fast using the startup code. So if you are interested, check out Slate Chocolate Milk. Find a good flavor, dark chocolate, classic, and latte. See what you want. Also, guys, again, I will be going to the OnePlus 10T launch event in New York. So if anybody's going, you're more than welcome to see me or take photos, whatever, if you are subscribed to my channel. And okay, look at the background, Mr. Man. What are you doing? Trying to cruise in New York? You trying to tell me you come to New York now?
It doesn't work.
I know. That's restream. But anyway, listen. I want to take this moment to thank all of you because my channel has been growing and it has been growing very fast, guys. And I am at a point now where honestly, it's starting to feel tiring. It's starting to feel time consuming and it's starting to actually like get to my head a little bit, but not fully. But I just want to take this moment to say that the hard work is paying off. I appreciate all of you for your continued support. I appreciate having people on my side. I want to get back to giving back to community. I want to get more people on my show. I know in the last year we've kind of kept it me and you, so we got to get back into getting some more people. And also, guys, I just love all of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for using the promo codes for helping support the channel. And guys, that's all I can say. Thank you, Sneed, for coming on. I appreciate you
Thanks for
always
having
as
me,
the
buddy.
co-host.
Appreciate you. Thank you, man.
If you enjoyed the stream, hit the like button. If you dislike the stream, you can hit the dislike button. It helps circulate my videos as well. As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all on the next episode of Technoid. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care. Stay safe. I will see you all next time. And